YouTube land. This is another episode of ZamSports. As you guys see the title, Shedeur Sanders is elite, and this is why. I posted earlier, as you guys see here, Todd Monken actually had an interview today as far as dealing with his plans, as far as for the offseason, as far as for OTAs, as far as for mini camps, preseason, even also the regular season. He was also asked what his predictions was as far as the wins and losses that will come from the Cleveland Browns coming up this season. So we got a lot to discuss, but Shedeur Sanders is elite, and this is something that I've been saying for quite some time. And this is a new channel, so maybe some of you guys haven't seen it, but I have put out former videos talking about how Shedeur is elite, but he just needs to develop. He needs the opportunity. He was not given the opportunities last year due to the fact that Kevin Stefanski was the coach, and there was a lot of collision that was going on within the organization as far as on Kevin Stefanski's side. I'm not going to put that on Andrew Berry. I'm not going to put that on, you know what I'm saying, on Jimmy Haslam. I'm not going to put that, on everybody else in the organization, but or even certain players. But I am going to put it on Kevin Stefanski. As we see, he's got a lot going on as far as controversy over there in Atlanta without even having a quarterback. So at the end of the day, karma seems to show his way. And now Shedeur seems to have a coach that actually believes in him. And this is why that I feel that Shedeur Sanders, right, will be elite because of what can happen in the offseason as far as building, restructuring the offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, the entire coaching staff, play calling, bringing in free agents, the draft. These are things that Shedeur did not have the likes of having to play the last 7 games of the Cleveland Browns season when he was just thrown into a situation without having any type of first reps. So let's hear what Todd Monken had to say. I'm just going to play just a brief little bit of this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go through this.
Jackson, that will be transferable to your work with whoever the quarterback is in Cleveland.
I would just say that one size doesn't fit all. There's not one system that fits any given quarterback, and it's your job to make it fit for the quarterback that you have. That's your job. You can't just say, well, he's doesn't fit our system. Well, then you've got a shitty system. That's just.
And look, and this is what I like about Todd Monken, okay? Because you can't just go off the fact, and this is what Kevin Stefanski was doing a lot last year. He was avoiding questions like this from the media when they were asking him about the development of Shedeur Sanders, and he wouldn't even mention his name. And the fact is that Kevin Stefanski would always talk about, well, the development of these young quarterbacks, the development of these young players through the system. But what Todd Monken said is that with the players that you have, if you're not able to actually get great development out of them, great play out of them, then you have a shitty system. And it's just that simple. And I totally agree with that, because in today's NFL, either you have a good system or you don't. You see that system can definitely benefit quarterback play despite, elite talent, as we've seen with Sam Darnold, as we've seen the likes, of Tom Brady throughout the years. It's not like Tom Brady has elite athleticism, but when you have a good system, all right, and you have accuracy, and your quarterback has accuracy and has poise, you're able to make things happen. And so this is what Todd Monken is alluding to. And Todd Monken has history of being able to develop quarterbacks into MVPs, as we've seen in the likes of Lamar Jackson when he was the offensive coordinator at Baltimore.
The way it is, your system. Sorry, that was a 5-second delay. Sorry.
No delays here. You're fine.
No delays here. So the reality is just you got to make the system fit the players that you have, especially a quarterback.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun building that with and for Lamar. And, so now it's on to the next chapter.
Yeah, I've had some coaches that were like, no, this is what I do.
While you have the media that cannot stand as far as how the quarterback room is taking play, as far as the negative narratives that they've been season to try and sabotage the Cleveland Browns, particularly because of their envious and their hatred for Shedeur Sanders. We got to keep it honest here, right? So I'm interested to see what Todd Monken is going to do, as we see that he's not afraid to talk about his plans as far as what he's going to do, which we didn't see that in the likes of Kevin Stefanski. So let's continue.
Okay, that's always frustrating. Your current quarterback situation, you got one of the more intriguing ones in football. You got Deshaun Watson, who hasn't been on the field a lot at all. You got Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, who are young but got potential, right? So how do you kind of view what you're coaching here and what you're about to get into?
Well, it's interesting. When you watch the back half of the year and you look at Shedeur, what you do see is a little bit more mobility than I thought.
Right.
He has a knack for getting out of trouble.
Yeah.
He certainly has playmaking ability.
Mm-hmm.
That you do see. I do think there's something there to work with.
Yeah.
I wasn't here during the year, so to be able to drill down at preparation or what they were doing offensively with him, and also you got to be able to surround your quarterback with weapons.
Right.
And guys up front, allow him to protect him. And then you have Deshaun, who.
And I like how he started first with Shedeur, right? You got a lot of narratives that's being painted. Todd Monken is not afraid to actually say his name, which Kevin Stefanski was afraid to do. Here he's asked a question as far as dealing with his quarterback room. First person he starts with is Shedeur. You guys don't think that Todd Monken doesn't know the negative narratives that's being painted on Shedeur Sanders throughout the entire season? Oh, he understands the situation that he signed up for, becoming the new head coach for the Cleveland Browns. He's not going to make the same mistakes that Kevin Stefanski made because of Kevin Stefanski's biased opinions as far as dealing with Shedeur. No, Todd Monken is here to win, is here to develop, and is here to grow those players in Cleveland. And if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you have something to be excited about because answers are being given right here. The first person that he talks about is Shedeur, and he alludes to the point that as far as the end of the season, that he showed a lot of flashes of him having the potential, right, to be a franchise quarterback, to be elite, all right? Because we've seen a lot of these things throughout the season, which I'm going to go through. So this is very key. While you have the media that are painting narratives talking about Kyler Murray may come in to be a Cleveland Browns, you know what I'm saying, starting quarterback, maybe likes of Malik Willis, Mac Jones, things of that nature, maybe look into the draft, maybe try to get Ty Simpson, things of that nature. Well, out of the horse's mouth, Todd Monken is focused on the current quarterback room, which is what he should be focused on, which is the right decision, which is the great direction that you need to be headed into when you have a lot of those young guys in that locker room that showed a lot of flash, a lot of scenario. You know what I'm saying? This last season.
At one time played at an elite level.
Yeah.
Where he's at now, it's hard to say. Probably his best game he played.
I want to rewind that.
Yeah.
Where he's at now.
And you heard it.
Allow him to protect him. And then you have Deshaun, who at one time played at an elite level.
Yeah.
Where he's at now, it's hard to say. Probably his best game he played in recent memory was 23 at Baltimore.
Right.
He won the game and then got hurt.
Yeah.
So obviously being able to keep him healthy and on the field, I don't think you lose that part of playmaking ability, play the game of football.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of what will we see here in a few weeks.
Right.
And
Okay. And now mentioning Deshaun Watson. And this is what you want to see. You understand? And this is great for every quarterback that's in that room of the Cleveland Browns. Now, I don't know how Dylan Gabriel feels, but he's going to speak about Dylan Gabriel, right? Dylan Gabriel, you know what I'm saying, is Kevin Stefanski's guy, man. Let's just keep it 100. That was Kevin Stefanski's draft pick in the 3rd round. So you've heard a lot of rumors as far as Dylan Gabriel maybe having some type of trade involvement to the Atlanta Falcons. But to be honest, I don't see that happening unless it's an emergency situation dealing with Michael Penix. That's the only thing that I see happening. But currently, all right, as he's speaking of Deshaun Watson and as far as Tom Monken is concerned, he says that, hey, We know that he was elite, but it's been some time. So, and this is the thing that we have to understand. When you've been off for quite some time in the NFL at that quarterback position, there's no future for you. I'm not saying that there's no future for Deshaun Watson. He's going to get an opportunity, but he's not the future moving forward for the Cleveland Browns if Todd Monken is hired to develop the young players. These are things we have to realize. So Todd Monken, I can see, is going to have Deshaun Watson at a veteran type role. I mean, Deshaun Watson's going to get his money anyway. He's already being paid. I mean, him and his wife was just out there just splurging, living lavish, you know what I'm saying, in Paris. So he definitely got his money. So let's see what happens, you know what I'm saying, in that quarterback battle. But best believe 12 is getting the first reps, as Myles Garrett alluded in my last video.
Excited to get a chance to work with him because we've seen it.
Yeah.
And then Dylan, anybody that's done it at 3 different schools, UCF, Oklahoma, and Oregon, there's something there.
Yeah.
And he's done it at 3 different places at an elite level.
Definitely.
So I'm excited for the room that we have, and yet not opposed to add to that room. Obviously, it doesn't matter what position, but especially that position, you're constantly trying to find the guy.
Right.
And you want to have about, most teams have about 3, but it's good to have a 4th quarterback in the quarterback room. I can see the Cleveland Browns looking into bringing in maybe a veteran, not somebody that they're looking to have start, but just somebody, that you can bring in as a safety insurance just in case injuries happen, and also can bring competition leading into OTAs and leading into the preseason. And so, but best believe, with him mentioning Shedeur first, with this direct question that Kevin Stefanski would have never answered last year, let's just keep it 100. You got to be encouraged in the likes of Shedeur Sanders. And if you are a 12 fan, and if you are a Cleveland Browns fan that's looking to develop the young players, this is something that you should be excited about. So he alluded to the elite games that Shedeur played. Now, let's see what Todd Monken, because this was a tough question that he was asked. And I definitely know that Stefanski would not have even addressed this. But he was asked his thoughts was on how many wins that the Cleveland Browns may have going into next season.
Get paid. They're the product. Where they go from here, good luck. But I certainly feel like the players deserve to get paid.
What's your goal in year 1 with the Browns?
Well, first off, I'll never put a cap on winning or losing. I think that's unfair to the players that we have and as an organization. All I'll say is this. When I looked at it, the back half of the year, for a team that at that time had 3 wins, only had 3 wins.
Yeah.
You lose to the Bills at home by 3.
Right.
Which those 3 wins, you know what I'm saying, came in the likes, you know what I'm saying, of Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. And then leading into the back half of the season. Now, remember, Shedeur was brought in late due to a Dylan Gabriel injury as far as a concussion. And so once Shedeur was actually thrown into the situation without having any first reps, by the way, y'all, not even second team reps, hell, let alone third team reps at all the entire season, just put on the back burner, right, with a bunch of plumbers as his offensive line, throwing to a bunch of, delivery drivers. We're just keeping it 100. And yet he was able to thrive. He was killing it during the OTAs. He was killing it during, preseason. He was killing it, in practice. I mean, all the media and everything was put out. Shout out to Well Off Media. But as you guys see here, man, he's about to allude to the second half of the season, because this is when we start to see the development of Shedeur Sanders, the flashes that, hey, even during grit and tough times, he's able to make comebacks. He's able to will his team to victory. Now listen to this.
You beat the Steelers at home, and you go on the road and beat the Bengals, 2 divisional teams to finish with 5 wins. To me, that's all I needed to know right there and then.
Right.
But see, that's all that Todd Monken needed to know. That's all that we needed to know, that really enjoy the game, that really watch. But you have those who want to paint the narrative negatives, and they need to know more. That wasn't enough for them. But for Todd Monken, he said that was all that he needed to know. And what is it? And who was starting at the end of the season? It was Shedeur, which is why Myles Garrett alluded to that it would make sense for him to come into this season, this upcoming season, as the starting quarterback, at least is QB1 when it comes to at least first team reps. You understand? QB1 when it goes into the preseason, because the preseason will definitely let you know. Right? So let's continue.
Not really that far away. What if those were the 3 games to start the season?
Yeah.
What if they'd have just lost the Bills by 3 like we did?
Right.
Whatever it was, or a field goal. And then you win the next 2, and then you're 2-0 in the division.
And see, this is what a lot of people were saying in the beginning. Why not just start Shedeur Sanders at the beginning of the year? You're trying to build and grow and develop your young players. I mean, these were the things that Kevin Stefanski was alluding to, but yet we've seen as far as what he did throughout the entire season was just a straight lie. So now you have Todd Monken that has to come in and fix the pieces as far as what Kevin Stefanski did. And he's got a huge task at hand. But I'm encouraged for the Cleveland Browns because Todd Monken understands this task. Todd Monken is coming in there with a lot of enthusiasm as far as for what's already on the roster. And that should bring a lot of confidence to those that are on the roster because the Cleveland Browns do have some dogs as well on that roster. Some young dogs. Harold Fanning, right? Maybe you can get more spark out of Jerry Jeudy. Maybe bring in another receiver, right? Maybe Quinshon Judkins is going to come back to what he actually was before that leg injury. I mean, they have some pieces. You bring in, a few offensive line. Now, I know they got a lot to do on the offensive line, right? But with the mind of Todd Monken, he knows how to adjust with the type of players that he has. You understand? To bring winning football. And we've seen that with Lamar Jackson when he was coaching him.
Momentum's a powerful thing, right? And belief in where you're at. That's all I needed to see with where they were at to say, we're really not that far away.
Right.
Right. And that's all you have to have is just belief to know that you're not that far away. But a lot of the quote unquote, not all of them, right? But a lot of the Cleveland media, the major Cleveland media, they have a negative mindset when it comes to the Browns. They're negative about everything. You ask them, you don't stand. They get asked, oh, how many games you think the Browns are going to win coming up this season? And they'll say, oh, 4. Right? It's madness. I mean, where's the hope? I mean, where's the faith? Are you paying attention? I mean, do you see anything? I mean, we are talking about this as a professional football team, and it's a business as well. You have up years, you have down years. But it's during the down years, you got to grind. You got to stick with it. You got to develop. And this is exactly what Todd Monken is bringing to the table. And so Todd Monken mentioned, some elite plays, that was made by Shedeur Sanders. And this was definitely one of them. I mean, this was against my Raiders, unfortunately. All right. And this really kind of put them on the map. I mean, you see Myles Garrett, you understand? Shocked, prime time, loving it. You understand? I mean, the elite to be able to escape the pocket. I mean, they'll throw it down the field with accuracy. We're talking over 50-something yards, y'all. With accuracy to Isaiah Bond. Shout out to Isaiah Bond because that's another young piece that started to shine towards the end of the season. So who said that he wasn't mobile? And this is something I posted earlier. And then when alluding to as far as the Pittsburgh game late in the season, I mean, come on. I mean, that's Dion-like. That's primetime-like, right? Accuracy, right to these young guys. And so with Todd Monken and his offense and Shedeur Sanders with this type of elusiveness and accuracy, best believe, given a full offseason and the opportunities to develop chemistry with the offensive line, with your running backs, with your wide receivers and tight ends, Cleveland definitely has something cooking coming up this year. And so I wouldn't be surprised, you know what I'm saying, if Cleveland ends up making the playoffs. And this is something that I said, right? I would not be surprised if Cleveland makes the playoffs. I mean, he is the pulse of the entire state right now as he visits a local Palm Beach school, right? Look at right? And that's the problem that people have, right? That the negative media has, right? Throwing the wrist, perfect time, right? But I mean, if you're Cleveland, you have to embrace this, man. I mean, there's a lot of attention that's being brought upon Cleveland, and it's because of this young man, right? You don't see these young men in the news for negative stuff like you see a lot of these younger guys coming into the league. You understand? I mean, this guy is the son of prime time. He was definitely raised by greatness to be able to handle the pressure. So with Todd Monken coming in, I definitely believe he's ready to take on the pressure of molding this young man into a Super Bowl winning quarterback, which can definitely happen with time. Look at them all trying to get in that picture, man. And see, you know what I'm saying? The culture loves him, man. He's the culture. And the culture is in Cleveland. Y'all just got to be ready for it. I mean, you definitely have to be ready for it if you give this guy time. And if we look at his best statistical game last year, it definitely was against the Tennessee Titans, right? Against the number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward. Remember, guys, it was supposed to be number 1 and Shedeur Sanders number 2, 1 and 2, or either or. But he ended up falling all the way to the 5th round, 144th pick due to collision. Let's just keep it 100. And we're talking about 23 for 42. The reason why that you see so many incompletions is because of the offensive line. Anybody playing behind that offensive line that's not Shedeur Sanders is not going to be able to pull off 364 yards off of those 23 completions. We're talking about 42 attempts. So this is the stuff that Todd Monken was alluding to, what I've been alluding to, what others have been alluding to, as far as the potential of elite talent. Because when you actually give him space, you give him the time, you actually block, right? You actually develop him, you believe in him, you're going to see those flashes, and those flashes leads to victories. Okay, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 97.7 QBR rating. All right, and this is something that if developed the right way, you can see consistently week in and week out. And as we look at, you know what I'm saying, the last game of the season against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Or towards the end of this the season, right? After beating the Bengals. Now, I'm going to struggle everything. I'm going to show everything, even the struggles. Some say that this was a struggle game, but if you actually watch the game, you will see that he had a very good game, which is why his QBR rating was 75.6. I mean, he outplayed Aaron Rodgers. Won the game. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. But look at this, though. The completion, 17 of 23. They went a heavy running game, all right? But there was a lot, as you guys seen earlier, that he did as far as flashes in that game, and we showed it earlier. And this is something that we got to realize, right? These were the flashes that we seen earlier in that same game. I mean, look at this. On second down against the Steelers. Step up, bow, have a grown man to his knees. What are we talking about? Right to the tight end on the money. All right? And it was plays like that where we were like, hey, these are flashes. Right? I mean, look at the offensive line. Look at 50 just coming straight down the lane. Just like that, man. Right? Shout out to the running back who picked up the chip. I mean, but that could have been a disaster. Right? What is 77 doing, man? I want y'all to look at this. And this is the stuff that I'm talking about, right? This is what he was dealt with, right? This is what Shedeur was dealt with. Look at this. Look at 77. I don't know. I thought he was there. Yeah, he ran right by you, bro. Or is that collusion? I mean, come on, you're a pro. Oh, yeah, you can't hold him. I understand that. All right. But shout out to the running back. But dang, I mean, poor running back. I mean, what are we talking about? And yet Shedeur still has to make a play. Step down, step up, step back, step up, step back, step up, step back. Beautiful. Beautiful ball. Beautiful. Right? And this is why, you know what I'm saying, despite the fact that you see 2 interceptions here, that yet he still had a good game because of plays like that. And thrown into your first start and you come in and you lead your team against my Raiders, right? 11-20, 209 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 8-3. And that's what I want y'all to realize is that the passing rating, you know what I'm saying, is really good. And this is just with a below average offensive line, a below average coach to keep it 100. So I'm very excited to see what Shedeur is going to do, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Going into OTAs, going into mini camps, going into preseason, going into the regular season, because I think the Browns have something cooking. Again, they're one of those young and up and coming teams. And so is Shedeur Sanders elite? I do believe he's elite. And we've seen it in college. And we clearly see why. And Todd Monken believes he's elite because he's a developer of quarterbacks. So this has been another episode of ZamSports. Make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys for another episode. Until then, gone.